What's up, Mets fans, and what's up, baseball fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets and Rob. How's everybody doing, guys? Great to be back on the live stream over the last couple of days. It's very nice to be with all you guys today. Only 2 days away from opening day on Thursday. Can't wait for it. If you're on the East Coast, the weather is going to be absolutely abysmal on Thursday. So let's hope we can get all the games in. There could be a couple of rainouts, but let's hope there is not any rainouts so we can enjoy opening day the way it ought to be. It's basically a holiday for baseball, a holiday and off day for baseball fans all across the country. So it's great to be back with you guys. This is all about MLB season preview. We're going to go through everything we need to go through throughout the season. I'm going to give you my division winners. I'm going to give you my wild card teams that didn't win the division. I'm going to give you the playoff bracket. I'm going to give you the World Series champions, everything that we have to look at, all the records, everything we have to look at throughout the MLB season, what to look for, surprise teams, everything we're going to do today for the next couple of hours. So keep on hitting on that like button, guys, if you haven't as of yet. We're going to continue talking. And as always, guys, go through all your comments. Say what's up to everybody. So once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button, guys. We're going to be here for the next couple of hours. Not a lot of live streams right now regarding the MLB season preview today. So the more people, the merrier. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get fans from all over the country today, from every team you could think of. I already got comments from a lot of people saying that they're going to hop on that are fans that from all over the country. So it's going to be a lot of fun today. And I really do hope that we have a good time today. And all of you might not agree with my division winners and my records that I give to the teams and wildcard teams, but that's the fun of being a baseball fan. You're not always going to agree with the other fan of another team for that matter, or even on the same team. So it's going to be extraordinary what you guys are going to be thinking of today. Of if you think division winners are going to be different, wildcard teams, or just the playoff bracket in general. So we're going to look at that throughout the day. But first off, guys, welcome to Talking Mets with Rob. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit on that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hang out all season with me and everybody else that are baseball fans. This is obviously a Mets channel, but during the year I will do just regular MLB videos and live stream as well, but focus on the Mets because I am a Mets fan, and we're going to do Mets live streams throughout the year during games, and I do go live during the fifth inning while I attend a game home and the road. So if you just tuning into the channel, hopefully you keep on coming back for more, guys. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to say what's up to everybody in the chat. I see Cosmic Jerry, I see Muhammad, I see Lane, I see Ed, Roberto and Sean, members of Talking Mets and Rob, and Andrew. Once again, guys, do not be shy if you're hanging on in the stream right now. Just say hi in the chat. Don't be shy, guys. We're all baseball fans. We're all here to talk baseball. No matter if you're a Yankee fan, Met fan, Brave fan, Blue Jay fan, Red Sox fan, does not matter, guys. This is a free forum for all MLB fans across the country, just like it was during the terrible MLB lockout that we had to go through. And during the MLB lockout streams that I did almost every day, everybody tuned in, everybody voiced their opinions. And this is one channel that I let you voice your opinions. As long as you don't do anything insane and get on people racially or sexually, we are good to go. Because it's all about the fun that we are going to have during this baseball season, during the live stream. So, I see Rocky in here. I see Adam as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, guys, hit on that like button. Adam's from Toronto. Again, guys, we're getting people from across the country and in other parts of the country as well. You might get a couple of people from Puerto Rico, as I was told from people in the comments earlier today. Andrew's talking about the Braves. All right, we're gonna start up from the front, guys, to see what's going on. Muhammad, how you doing? It's been a long time. You know, another pitcher is probably not going to happen at this moment, but we'll see. I'm hoping the Mets somehow try to get Montas, but we have to see. There's a lot going on in this situation. You know, we watched Walker's, or some of us watched Walker's terrible performance today. His velocity was down today. He just didn't have it today. I don't know if it was just one of those days or there's something wrong, but let's hope not. but we will see. Lane, who gets the ball for the Mets on opening day on Thursday? I think it's going to be Tyler McGill. He's pitched well in the spring. He was a guy that was going to be one of our depth pieces in the minors. But guess what? Injuries happen. Unfortunate events with Max Scherzer with his hamstring. I will give it to Tyler McGill. He's got the demeanor and the attitude to get put in that situation. I trust him. Now I'm not trusting him to go 7 innings and 1-hit ball and give up no runs. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if you see him 5 innings, maybe 6, around 80 pitches. I will take that from him. We're not playing a really good team in the Nationals. So, it's probably going to take 4 or 5 runs a game to win these ball games. I like our bullpen. It's not perfect, but I know some people were very curious about why the New York Mets traded Miguel Castro for Joely Rodriguez. I understand that. But the Mets, we were talking about this throughout the entire offseason. The New York Mets needed a lefty that you can actually say, all right, that's a professional lefty. Joely Rodriguez is not the best lefty in the game, but he is pretty darn good. He's not great, but he's good. And I didn't like the way Miguel Castro, he reminded me of Edwin Diaz a lot of times. A lot of the times he looked lights out. And then the next outing can't find the plate and he's tremendously wild. I think the Mets have to avoid guys that you put in and you don't know what you're gonna get at all. And that's basically what we have with Diaz, and that's the way I think with Castro. I think we had too many volatile relievers, and I think Joely Rodriguez is a more safer option, especially from the left side. You can't have Jason Shreve by himself as the only lefty in that bullpen. It's just not going to work out. And I think Joely Rodriguez. I think if the Mets could have kept Castro, I think they would. But I think the Mets were trying to find a lefty. Didn't think that they were going to get anything else better at the moment. So, we all talked about Hader, but we didn't think that was going to happen. Most likely, it seemed hard since the Brewers are trying to win. Maybe during the deadline, that's a different story. So, with Tyler McGill, I think he's going to get the nod. You'll probably find out tomorrow. He was supposed to pitch today, so it's pretty obvious that Tyler McGill was supposed to pitch today. If he pitched today, he would not been in line for opening day. So they didn't pitch him. They pitched Walker. Walker is aligned to pitch the 3rd or 4th game of the series against the Nationals. So it looks like Tyler McGill is lining up to pitch opening day. I'm glad the Mets are not pitching Scherzer, only because it's supposed to be a terrible day in Washington, and you don't want him slipping or trying to make a play on the ball, and he slips, hurts his hamstring, and then he's out a month. We don't need that. Give him a day. The next day on Friday, he's supposed to be a little bit better. It's supposed to be rainy, but it's like 45% chance on Friday. It's like 90% chance on Thursday. So worst case scenario, if the game gets, delayed and you have McGill in like the 3rd inning or something like that, you can go through a bullpen game. You can do that because, you don't have that luxury of the day off after opening day because of a rainout. Early on, you have a lot of games in a row. There's not a lot of off days, especially in April, because of the late week that we started. We usually start obviously March 31st. We're already basically into the 2nd series already, but now we're starting the 1st series. So the good news is, guys, is that baseball is going to be played on Thursday somewhere. And even if you don't have your team playing because of rain, at least you get to watch baseball throughout the whole game. And I want to give a little notice to you guys that if you have T-Mobile, make sure you get the free MLB subscription to watch the games throughout the year. Obviously, T-Mobile over the last couple of years has been giving that to you on T-Mobile Tuesday app. So if you haven't done it, do it today because it's the only day you can actually use that T-Mobile free subscription for MLB.TV. I just did it this morning, so I'm good to go. Granted, I like to watch other games a lot more over the last couple of years. I was more focused on the Mets and Yankees regionally, just based on watching it on TV. Every now and then the Braves, but now what I like to do, I like to have a couple of screens going, watching, our division rivals for the Mets, and of course watching the Yankees as well, because the Mets and the Yankees are in the same town. So it's always interesting to look at as well. And you always want to stay up on your knowledge on all the teams if you can, but mostly the teams that you're dealing with throughout your division. So, Lane, that's a pretty good question, but Tyler McGill looks like he's going to get the start. Ed, there hasn't been much about trade talks. Obviously, we heard the one about the Padres. Again, Mets fans were completely split on that Padre decision or trade that would have went down if the Mets actually would have accepted it, because the offer was on the table for the Mets. It was just a matter of them doing it, pulling the trigger. And again, I wasn't so much against it as a lot of Met fans were, honestly. So I don't really think that it would have been a necessarily bad trade, because again, guys, I think too many people are just looking at the person of Dom Smith. You know, everybody became fans of Dominic Smith during the 2020 season, not only because of his play, but because of the whole thing with the social injustice thing. And, he was on camera crying about what he's been through and other people he knows been through. And people became big fans of him, which is excellent. But I'm looking at the play on the field. And Dominic Smith didn't have a good year last year. He had one good 60-game season, and that was it. And he was hurt in 2019. And my thing was, he's not going to play every day. That's my big thing. If you can get a guy in Hosmer who I think needs to change his scenery, because that Padres dugout and clubhouse is toxic. I don't care what anybody says. And you're going to see that when I show my division in a little while. The funny thing is with the Padres, I think the same thing with Paddock. Even though I know he has a partially torn UCL, but you know what? A lot of players have partially torn pitchers have partially torn ACL. I mean, we have one on our team in Seth Lugo who is hanging on by a thread. So I think Paddock needed to change the scenery as well. And the reliever that we were going to get as well. If you can get 3 players that can help your team for a part-time player that would have been a part-time player on your team, you make that trade. It's just how I felt. Granted, not a lot of people agreed, but it is what it is. It didn't happen. We move on. So at the moment, no really new trade talks. Roberto, Sean, member of Talking Mets and Rob. Oh, before I get started a little bit further with your comments, guys, when it comes to the stickers that I was supposed to send you guys, I was waiting for a new pack and I got it. See, here we go. I got them now. I'm happy. I got over 200 of them now, so I'm really happy. I didn't want to send like odd numbers to one person or another. I think I had like 10 left, and I didn't want to send 2 to one person and 3 to the other. So now I'm going to send you a couple of stickers in the same amount. So don't worry, guys. I didn't forget you. I was just waiting to be fair and give everybody the same amount of stickers for the channel. So sorry about that. Roberto, Sean, thank you for tuning in. Those guys are members of Talking Mets and Rob. I really do appreciate it. Roberto, yes, they are talking about that terrible weather in DC. 90% chance of rain. They said there's a somewhat of a little bit of a gap to get the game started, but the last thing I want is to have a game started and have players waiting around and everything like that, because you lose your starter in early parts of the game. It sucks because you got to use your bullpen. And like I said, April is a month that you don't have a lot of days off, and that's bad because in May, specifically for the Mets, May 3rd, they got a doubleheader against the Braves to make up for the games they missed in the prior week. So let's just hope the weather changes just enough so the Mets can get the game in. It's going to be cold, too. It's going to be like low 50s, maybe low or high 40s. So, woof. Sean, good afternoon. Andrew, I have a feeling that the Braves game might be pushed an hour ahead. That's a possibility as well. Like I said, the entire East Coast is going to get crappy weather over Thursday and Friday. So, like I said, let's hope we get the games in somehow, some way. But we can see what happens. You know what I'm saying? You can't control the weather. You just can control yourself, basically. So it's unfortunate, but at least you'll have some games to watch if it's not your team. But let's hope that the rain doesn't affect any of these games, because you don't want to start opening day with postponements and delays and stuff like that, because it sucks. Mr. Fame, thank you so much, buddy. JS, I can't wait until Thursday either, man. I can't freaking wait. 100%. I'm ready to go. Ready to go. I'm just ready. I like, we lost a week, even though we're going to gain it back with double headers and stuff like that. But we should be the second series of the year already. So it's kind of we're usually in the groove already, but we're not. So that's unfortunate. But at least we got baseball in 162. I'm just ready. Like I said, let's hope the weather holds up for everybody throughout the country. Fernando, how you doing, buddy? Mr. Fame, I hope the Mets are going to hit this year. They're not going to be a power hitting team, that's for sure. But I think they're going to score runs, more productive runs. Sack flies, moving a runner over, getting guys home in scoring position. Meant too many times last year we didn't have that at all actually, and that was the bigger problem. Everybody forgets that pitching wasn't the Mets' problem last year, even though we had many injuries. We had problems scoring runs. In August alone, I think we had about 8 losses in one run games when we had 13, 14, 15 men left on base and 8 or 9 in scoring position left on base. And that sucked. That's what hurt the Mets more than anything. And the difference this year, and you've seen it in spring training, getting sack flies with less than 2 outs and a runner on third, moving runners over with less than 2 outs. It's something that the Mets had a hard time doing, and now you have that with Escobar and Marte. And we're hoping that Nimmo is actually ready for opening day with his neck, because I think it's a scary 1-2 punch with Marte and Nimmo leading off and batting second. I think it's a perfect 1-2 threat that the Mets have, and I do think Francisco Lindor is going to have a bounce back season. Not something that is worth his contract, but I can expect him to hit around 265, 270. I'm expecting close to 30 home runs, like around 27, 28, and knocking 80 RBIs, which is more than enough for your number 3 hitter. So we have to wait and see. But I think the Mets are going to be more productive with runners on base. What do you feel about the Yankees? You see, with the Yankees, Lane, I don't feel like the Yankees have enough in their rotation to beat teams that have juggernaut offensive like the Blue Jays. And let's be honest, guys, the Red Sox have a pretty good offensive lineup as well. And the Rays somehow always find a way to score runs. I think the Yankees are, after Cole, there's a lot of question marks. And honestly, the Yankees had an offseason like the Mets usually have an offseason, to be completely fair. The Wilpon Mets are what the Yankees did this year. That's basically what it was. Your Josh Donaldson trade was similar to the Robinson Cano Edwin Diaz trade, except that the Yankees didn't give up major prospects. The Yankees did give up their starting catcher and their baseman, but it seemed a little similar. Like, let's get a old 36-year-old third baseman and bring in a shortstop who is probably not great offensively. He's okay, but he's a very good defensive shortstop. But yet you've seen Gleyber Torres play a lot of shortstop in the spring, so I don't know what the Yankees are doing. So I think I like the Yankees getting Miguel Castro. I think that helped their bullpen out. The Yankees needed that. But the Yankees bullpen is somewhat skeptical. You need bounce back years from Chad Green. You need a bounce back year from a lot of guys in that bullpen, Chapman. And you got to rely on Loizaga being as good as he was last year. So there's a lot of things. And, Britton's not going to be coming back for a couple of months. So the Yankees bullpen, it is not as dominant and can usually pick up the slack of the lackluster rotation. Now the bullpen can't pick up the slack of the rotation. So where is the production from the pitching staff coming from? That's the problem that I'm having with the Yankees. The Yankees are going to hit. They always seem to hit in the regular season. The problem is, are they going to lose a lot of 9-8 games, 8-7 games? That's the way I'm going to see it. The Yankees are going to score a lot of runs, but are they going to give up a lot of runs as well? Who knows what the Spider Tech is going to do with Garrett Cole without having it? Is he the pitcher that we saw in Houston? Probably not. Is he the pitcher that you've seen prior to the Spider Tech being banned? Probably not. Is he going to revert back to his Pittsburgh days? I think he's a little bit more older and understanding what he has to do on the mound. But is his spin rate going to be affected enough where he's not going to be that dominant pitcher you saw in the first half of last year or with the Houston Astros? That's the concern that I have. With the rotation, let's go back to the rotation really quick. Say if Cole is the ace and he is dominant as all hell, top 5 in Cy Young, you still got a ton of question marks. You got Luis Severino that we don't know can be healthy the entire year. And if he is healthy, he's a guy that could pitch very well, but when it comes to big spots, he's choked in big spots throughout his career when he had opportunity. Then your number 3 starter is Jordan Montgomery, who is, let's be honest, guys, a 5-inning pitcher at best. And, is probably going to give up between 3 and 4 runs a game, which with this offense is fine, but now you're going to bring into a questionable bullpen. That is a big problem as well. And then after that, you got Nestor Cortez, who, let's be honest, guys, he had a good season last year, but now the entire league has seen him. So unless he can adjust to the league adjusting to him, we have to wait and see. So he's the question mark, even though I like Nestor Cortez a lot. And then your 5th starter, I don't know if the Yankees, I'm not an expert on the Yankees' 5th starter because I don't think they named one as of yet. But if it's, Gill or Schmidt, that's something that is a rookie. You just don't know how they're going to pan out. So I think the Yankees pitching staff as a whole is something to worry about because I think the Yankees are going to hit, which you're going to see in my division, in my stand-ins when I give you the records of why I think the Yankees still have a pretty good chance to go pretty far in the playoffs, or at least making the playoffs, and we'll look at the playoff brackets as well. So that is my little Yankee rant for a second. Andrew, I think it wasn't the Mets wanting Watson. I think Watson wants to stay on the West Coast. And unless the Mets are going to overpay for Watson, I don't think Watson was going to come here. That's what I think it is. But I could be wrong. Unless, maybe their mentality or their philosophy with left-handers is not, let's get the best left-handed out there in the bullpen. Maybe they want left-handers by committee. I mean, that's the way I think it's, bringing in Jolie Rodriguez, you have Alex Claudio in the minors, and Chase and Shreve. They think that most lefties can get out most left-handed batters. I guess that's the philosophy they have. I don't agree with it, but I do think that's what the way they're looking, that's the way their philosophy is, in my opinion. Merlin Phil, how you doing, buddy? I think we need to get Frankie Montas. He can help. Merlin Phil, I did that video. I believe you commented on my video about Frankie Montas. I completely 100% agree. Some people got on me thinking that it was clickbait. It wasn't clickbait. If you watch the video and if you look at the thumbnail itself, it was questionable thumbnail. It was basically, all right, hey, click it, watch the video, pay attention to the video. In my video, I said the possibility of the New York Mets getting Frankie Montas. I want the Mets to go get him. And what would it take? I put out there Dominic Smith and Ronnie Mauricio. I think that's a pretty fair offer considering the fact that you saw what the Padres gave for Sean Manaea. I know Montas is their ace, but you also have to look at his contract as well. He has 2 more years left on his contract, and I don't see why the Oakland A's would actually keep him, honestly, because they got rid of everybody. And Montas is probably chirping in the ear of Billy Beane as well. So, but if you have to add another prospect, like a Robert Dominguez or Alex Ramirez, do it. Because not only are you going to get Montas in his rotation, if somehow DeGrom comes back in June and he's ready to go, you actually have 3 aces on this team, 1, 2, 3, and Chris Bassett on about 60% or maybe 70% of the league can be an ace of a staff. So you basically have 3 number 1s and 2 number 2s, basically. And that's something that I think the Mets should do. Now, granted, they might not do it right now, but they might do it a month or 2 from now if you're number 4 and number 5, like a Walker or Carrasco are struggling, and the Mets say, "Hey, let's pull the trigger." But I think it would solve so many problems. Yeah, Lane, again, once again with Watson, I don't think Watson wants to come to the East Coast. I think he's a West Coast guy that wants to stay on the West Coast. Because I think the Mets would have pulled the trigger. That's the only reason I can think of. Because why wouldn't the Mets offer him a contract? Now, granted, I don't want the money's not an issue, but I don't want the Mets to overpay for a 35-plus-year-old left-hander just to get a lefty in the bullpen. I would honestly, I would give him 1 year, $5-6 million just to have him, but maybe he just doesn't want to come to the East Coast. Jose, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, Michael, I wouldn't call it deja vu just yet because usually DeGrom is out, season over. You know, I trust Max Scherzer can hold it up for the entire year, basically. Honestly, and you got Chris Bassett as well, who people are kind of like not down, but are not really excited about Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett was an all-star last year. He's a very good pitcher, and changing leagues is only going to make him better. And I just think that people are just not really are looking at the downside of the DeGrom injury when the Mets never win in DeGrom starts anyway. So and they were talking about this on SNY as well on Baseball Night in New York the other day that the Mets never win at Jacob DeGrom on the mound. I mean, I think he's like 15 games, 16 games under 500 when DeGrom pitches. So, are we really losing much except for a dominant performance when the Mets will only score one run anyway and pray they win 1-0? I don't know. So, I think it's the fact that people like, oh, DeGrom, oh no. The Mets fans still have to get over the Wilpon era, which is very difficult, and realize that there's a reason why the Mets went to do everything they can to get Scherzer. They made that Chris Bassett move as a I guess you can call it as a just in case scenario if DeGrom wasn't going to be able to start the season. That's what I think they made that trade for. And you still, without DeGrom, still have an ace in Scherzer and a solid number two in Bassett. And Tyler McGill is going to get the start on opening day most likely. And I like Tyler McGill a lot. I think he should have got the nod over Carrasco, but money talks. So that's why Carrasco's in the rotation. But I can guarantee you, if Carrasco is terrible, Miguel is going to take his spot, and Carrasco is going to go in the bullpen. Jose, Mauricio, JD, Peterson from Montas. I don't think the Mets have to give up that much, honestly. Again, I don't think the A's are going to take JD Davis. He's not. He's a DH, JD Davis. That's all he is. He sucks at third base. He sucks in the outfield. JD Davis is a DH. The A's are not going to want him. What the A's need is a first baseman. That's why Dominic Smith is in that trade. Now, if you want to go Mauricio Smith, I don't think you have to give Peterson up. I don't think the Mets would give Peterson up, honestly. But I think you would give up another top 10 prospect. I do that. Like I said, Alex Ramirez, Robert Dominguez. If you want to give a Ziegler, I would do that. Just because Montas is that good. Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I think they got so much pressure from the fans all around. I honestly think, guys, that they realized that it was going to be a total disaster. Like, they would have lost diehard baseball fans if they would have prolonged this lockout. And they didn't. They were smart enough to realize that, hey, let's get 162 any way we can. And they did it. And I applaud them from getting it done. But they left a sour taste in my mouth, honestly. Who's your pick for team MVP? It's kind of tough because there's so many moving pieces. This team is like revamped and totally different from last year. I'm gonna say Alonso, but because he technically is the face of the team. Honestly, I know DeGrom is, but until DeGrom can actually stay healthy on the field, I can't call DeGrom that. So I would say Alonso, but I think the MVP of the team. Whew. You know what? I'm gonna say Alonso. I think he's gonna have a great year. He's got more support in this lineup, not power support behind him, but it looks like they're gonna put Escobar behind Alonso, which I kind of like. And I think that veteran atmosphere around Alonso is only gonna help him. Yeah, Lane, it wasn't on TV today. I think it was on some areas on MLB Network. I mean, I watched it on the Nationals website. Well, I didn't watch a lot of it. I watched a little bit of it. But yeah, I mean that's what happens when they don't play at home. So yeah, I mean that's it. No more spring training. We're ready to go for the season though. That's what's going to be fun about it. Yeah, Mike, Michael, I don't really care what guys do in the spring. I honestly don't. I really don't. Like Lindor last year had a really good spring, and what did he do in the season? He was terrible. I'm not looking at spring training. All I wanted to get out of spring training is the guys being healthy. Oh, that's it. I'm glad Dom Smith's attitude is very good because he can easily soured on the whole trade rumor stuff with the Padres. But Dom's a good team player. You know, I think the reason why he had a bad year last year was because of the toxic culture that was in that clubhouse. I think he went to the bad crowd with Baez and Lindor and Stroman and Walker. I think the combination of those players get together because I don't think Walker or Francisco Lindor are bad teammates or bad clubhouse guys. I truly believe Baez and Stroman were the main causes of everybody being on eggshells. And that's why I think this clubhouse is going to be totally different. So I do think that the fact that the clubhouse is different is only going to help Dom and his attitude. Because Dom, if you look at his press conference or when he talks to the media, he's a totally jolly, happy guy. Last year, he wasn't that guy. And I think that was the reason because of it. You know, it's always up to that yourself, your person, to be the type of guy you want to portray. But I think Dom's a good guy. And I do think Dom's going to have a good season. But I'm also not going to be mad if they trade him for a piece that the Mets need. Look, I'm surprised the Yankees didn't go after Mania, let alone Montas. If the Yankees couldn't pull a trade from Mania, they're damn sure not getting Montas because Montas is going to cost more prospects. And the Yankees seem like they're not going to do that. And Paddock, I don't think so. Honestly, if the Yankees do that, then Yankee fans are going to be just as mad as Met fans would. He got a partial torn UCL. I would give a chance on Paddock because new team, new environment will probably help him. But I don't know. I don't think I think the Yankees are going to stay packed for a little while. See how it goes. Look, if the Yankees are going to need help during the season, they'll get it. Brad, what's up? How you doing? Jose Camacho, what's up? Thumbs up. Yeah, I totally agree. He got better protection than he did in than last year for sure. Scoob, I'm ready for the regular season as well. Absolutely. Hey, what about I mean you got a pretty good team there. You know, I don't know if you're gonna be happy with my standings predictions for the Central, but you know, I'll give you some teams the credit. Don't worry. I promise. Okay, Jose, the team was on Mason. Well, if you're in that area where you get Mason, then yes. Well, Christian, I mean, look, the Mets were obviously doing changing the clubhouse, right? If Loop was a problem, like Baez was, like Stroman was, there's a reason why Stroman and Loop, the Mets didn't go hard after them because they were problems, and maybe that's the reason for Loop. Luke hasn't had a good spring with the Angels, so maybe the Mets make a right decision. They're prioritizing rotation and quality lineup, veteran lineup. That's what they're counting on. And we'll see if they're right, obviously, in 162. So, since we're here right now, and this is MLB season preview, if you're just tuning in, I'm going to give you the the division winners, the wild card teams, playoff bracket, and World Series champions. That is my prediction for the year. I will show you that in a little bit. I'm just curious to think who your division, who do you think is going to win the World Series? Throw up your comments there to let me know who you got, and let's see if we agree or disagree. And I already know people are going to disagree with some division winners. I completely understand, and that's the best part about being a sports fan is that you're not always going to agree. If everybody agreed, it's kind of pointless, right? So we'll get into that in a little bit, but I'm just going to keep on reading the comments for a little while. No, Scherzer's too much of a veteran to be nervous. Honestly, I'm not nervous about his hamstring. He's a bulldog. If he says he's okay, he's okay. This guy pitched with basically one eye a couple of years ago. When this guy is a beast. I'm not worried about him. He's a bulldog. So I'm not really worried about him. He's a guy that loves the pressure. I mean, you saw what he did with the Nationals. You saw what he did with the Dodgers. He likes the spotlight. I'm not worried about him at all. Think the Mets are going to win the World Series? I don't agree. I don't think they're. Can they get hot at the right time? Yes. With their rotation, even if DeGrom is healthy, yes, they can cause some damage for sure. I don't believe the Mets are capable as of yet to be crowned world champions, or at least my opinion to be world champions. You will see. I think this team is just a team that people are just not giving enough respect to throughout. I mean, if you look at projections for like Fangraph and CBS and MLB, all over the place, like there's some teams that are not getting no respect at all, and I think that's insane, absolutely insane. Jays got the Jays. The Marlins, I could see them being a sleeper team because their rotation and their bullpen is pretty damn good. Look, the Marlins always worry me. The Mets can never beat them, and their rotation is really scary, guys. Honestly, um, they worry me a lot. Uh, but at the end of the day, I think the Marlins are gonna have a hard time because there's three teams in the division that can be pretty damn good in the Phillies, Mets, and Braves. And I think that's the downfall. If the Marlins were in like the Central, I think they would have a better chance because they can beat up on the Pirates, they can beat up on the Reds, and they can. But with this extra wild card team, it's so different now. If somebody comes out of the gate bad, the Marlins can take advantage of that. But the Marlins can be a sleeper team with their rotation for sure. Yes, the Yankees did bring back Greg Bird for a minor league deal. I don't know how much he has left, but we'll see. Jose says the Blue Jays. I'm glad people are giving respect to the Blue Jays on this stream because a lot of other streams wasn't really, not showing any respect at all, honestly. Unfortunately. Christian, yeah, he's done with minor hamstrings before. That's why I wasn't too worried. It wasn't a tear or anything like that. It was just a tightness in his hamstring. He's going to be okay. Look, Scherzer knows his body well enough. He's a veteran. I trust him saying that he's okay. That's the one thing for sure. Right, so let's see what else. There's a lot of strong teams that I'm looking at when it comes to the Mets. I'm sorry, when it comes to in the league. You know, I still got to give a lot of respect to the Braves because I do think the Braves, look, they're World Series champions. I honestly think they got better, which sucks for the Mets and anybody in the NL East. But I think the Braves are a team that is just, they got better production wise with Olsen. There's no doubt about that. But the one thing that the Braves are going to be missing is that leadership that Freeman brought. And I know people don't talk about that as much, but for a young team in the Braves who has a lot of, happy-go-lucky guys that like to, have a lot of fun, basically guys that like to showboat a little bit, Freeman is a guy that weighs it down a little bit and still is that leader in the clubhouse. I don't know if the Braves can have that leadership from another player. I don't know. I don't think Acuna is old enough to be that leader. I don't think he is a leader as of yet. He's just hella talented. You know, maybe it can be a guy like Darno. I don't really know, but Freeman, that leadership is gone off the grave. Well, their talent is gonna show out a lot for sure, but are they gonna be good enough in the playoffs with that leadership that Freeman actually had? Is the talent just gonna take over? That's something that we have to see. Lane, I'm sorry. Can you write that again? I'm a little confused about what you're talking about. Well, Pujols hit 21 home runs. I guess Scoop. I think it matters. On Scoop, I did see you uh comment on PS5. I was into the game. I was into MLB the show so much I wasn't even paying attention. But that's my fault. But it depends on how much he's gonna play. Look, the Cardinals want to win the division. Is Pujols gonna be the guy that either makes or break their season? Probably not. It's just a matter of how much he's going to play. He'll DH a lot, obviously. 21 home runs, I think, is a lot. I would go more between 12 and 15 because I don't think he's going to get a lot of playing time. The Cardinals are looking to win the division, and, they got to fight out with the Brewers. And you know what? The Cubs are not a team that's going to be a walkover either. They're going to be okay, even though I don't give the Cubs a lot of respect in the standings, as you'll see. But 21 home runs, I think, is a little bit too much. Plexi, I wouldn't say that. Like I said, I don't take so much out of the spring with pitchers like, performance as like how many runs he gave up. He gave up home runs. These guys work on stuff throughout spring training. It seemed like to me the innings that I watched with him, he was throwing a ton of fastballs. I think he was working on his location and his velocity was down a little bit, but I'm not going too crazy about that. I still like Walker. I'm not going to go crazy about the home runs he gave, the grand slam he gave up, all that stuff. I don't really go crazy too much on performance alone. I think you got to remember, he started spring a little late because, he had that injury and everything like that. He was coming back from that rehab. So he's a little bit behind when it comes to getting his innings in. So I'm not too worried about him. I think he's going to be pretty good. Again, guys, he's going to be our fourth or fifth starter. So it's not the end of the world that he's going to give you 5 innings, 3 runs. You can't concern yourself with that. Yeah, well, the Mets didn't start. Anybody didn't start on time this year. So, Lane, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Aiden, sorry. Do you think Stan could be an MVP like Judge one day? Well, I mean, Stanton did win an MVP already, so uh, and Judge has not. So I don't think Stanton is an MVP winner. So Judge, I guess you could have said could have been the MVP over Altuve that year. Granted, whatever, but I think Stan's gonna. Stan's still one of your best players, even though Yankee fans seem to hate him. Stanton is one of your best players on the team offensively. He always finds a way to have the numbers at the end of the year. So I think Stan's gonna be fine for you guys. Scoop, you think Wainwright will have a winning season? Yeah, I mean because I think the Cardinals are good. I like the Cardinals a lot. If Rendon can be what he is, if Goldschmidt can be that guy, and Arenado, I mean, they got some players, that's for sure. I like their team. And yes, rain. It is supposed to rain on opening day, which is unfortunate for a lot of teams in the East Coast. Unfortunately, but that's okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna get right to my divisions and my records for. I'm gonna start with the AL teams first. We're gonna start with. I'm gonna post all of it, and you guys can see. I'm gonna let you guys know that I put like wild card teams based on records and everything like that. And obviously, it's a little different format this year that you'll understand it when I show the playoff brackets. But we're gonna start with the AL American League first, and then we'll go into the National League. Yeah, Pierce, Christian. Yeah, I saw that with Pearson. That hurts the Jays a little bit, but the Jays are still a really good team, so I'm not too concerned about that. You know, mono can take a couple of weeks to not be contagious, so I mean that's unfortunate. All right, so guys, so we're gonna start with the American League divisions right now. So I'm gonna share my screen. Just give me 1 second while I get this banner out of here, so I can share the screen and we can talk about it. Give me a second, guys. All right, now we'll go. All right, guys. So here we go. Let's put it a little closer. All right, guys. So these are my American League divisions right here. We're gonna start with the left side with the AL East guys. Christian, yes, another Christian. All right, guys. So with starting with the AL East, I think the Blue Jays are the best team in the AL East, guys. I think the Blue Jays offense is just by far one of the best offensive in the league, and especially in the AL East. You know, I think the Yankees do have a really good offense as well, but they're no match for offensively with the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are going to be a 95 win team. I think they're going to win the division, and they're going to have the best record in the American League with 95 wins, and going to get the bye in the first round of the playoffs. Second, I think it's going to be the Tampa Rays at 93 wins, and the Rays always find a way to win the division, or at least get close to winning the division. They always find a way to win 90 plus games. And that's the way I think that the Rays are just gonna just show out and be a team that's just that good. They always find a way with players that we have no clue who they are sometimes. So I think the Rays are gonna come in second with 93 wins and gonna be a wild card team. And I do think the Yankees are gonna sneak into the playoffs, being one of the final teams in the playoffs with 90 wins. I don't think the Yankees. I think if everything goes right, I can see the Yankees winning 92, maybe 93 wins. But at this moment, I don't think everything's going to go right for them. I think the bullpen's a problem. I think their rotation is a problem. I think they're going to lose a lot of games, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 games like that is going to be a problem for the Yankees. But I do think they're going to make the playoffs with a 90 win total for the upcoming season. I think they're going to come in third place, and they're just going to sneak it out just enough to make the last wild card spot in the playoffs. The Red Sox, I don't like their rotation or their pitching staff in general or bullpen, so I think they're just going to miss out. I think they're going to have 89 wins, which is a solid season, but not good enough to make the playoffs. And obviously the Orioles are going to be one of the worst teams in the league, and considering what I have here, are going to be the worst team in the American League at 64 and 98, and they're going to be fifth. For the AL Central, the Chicago White Sox, I think, are going to easily win this division with 92 wins. I don't think they're going to win more than that. I still think they're going to have – they still got pretty good teams with the Twins and the Tigers, and the Tigers just got Austin Meadows, so I think that's going to help the Tigers a little bit. But the Twins and the Tigers are going to be a little annoying to the White Sox, but when you got the Guardians and the Royals in that division, the White Sox, Twins, and Tigers are just going to beat up on those teams. But I think the White Sox are the cream of the crop in the AL Central with a 92 and 71 record. That's going to be the third best team in the American League, and that's why they're going to be the first wild card team, because obviously, as you know, guys, the two best records in both leagues are going to get byes starting the first round. The Twins are going to be in second place with 88 and 74 record, and they're unfortunately going to miss out on the playoffs because of the records of the other divisions. The Tigers, I believe, are going to be 84 and 78. I think they're up and coming, but they're just not there yet. But an 84 and 78 is a pretty good record considering that they're one of them up and coming teams. They made a nice little deal with Javi Baez, where they think is going to help them. A nice trade with Austin Meadows. Their pitcher staff still got a little bit of work, but they're still an up and coming team. The Guardians, I don't know what they're doing. They're not talking to Jose Ramirez anymore about an extension, so they're just going to be a bad team at 78 and 84. And the Royals are going to be one of the. I know Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be on the opening day roster, which is great, but they're still a very bad team. They're not any good. Their offense can be pretty solid, but their pitching staff is just not good. The Royals going to go with 74 and 88 record for the AL Central. So far, we got the Blue Jays, Rays, Yankees, and White Sox making the playoffs so far. And now we're going to go to the AL West that has two teams that are going to make the playoffs. With the Astros still winning the division at 93 and 69, they are going to get the second bye for the second best record in the American League at 93 and 69. And then the Mariners, I think, are going to be a team that are going to surprise a lot of people and going to make the wild card, be the fifth wild card team and make the playoffs at 91 and 71. The Mariners are a team that I think is going to be the surprise team of the year. I know people think they're talented, but I still don't think people are giving enough respect to the Mariners. The Mariners won 90 games last year. They're a good team, really good team. If I feel like they're finally going to make the playoffs after what, 20 plus years. The Mariners 91 and 71. The Texas Rangers, they made a lot of good moves, but I still question their pitching staff a little bit. I'm giving them enough credit offensively that I'm going to give them an 89 and 73 record, but just missed out on the playoffs in the American League. The Los Angeles Angels, I still think they have no pitching. They're still not that good. Their bullpen's questionable. I don't know if their lineup's going to be good. If these guys got to stay healthy, and I don't think they're going to. And I think the Angels are going to have an 84 and 78 record. And the Oakland Athletics are kind of in fire sale mode. They're not going to be any good at all. But I'm still going to give the A's credit because analytically, they still find a way to be somewhat relevant. And I'm going to give them 75 wins with 87 losses. So that is your American League teams that are going to make the playoffs. The Blue Jays, the Rays, and the Yankees, I'm giving a lot of respect to the AL East coming into the playoffs. The Blue Jays are with the best record. The Rays and Yankees are going to be wildcard teams, with the White Sox winning the division being the first wildcard team. The Houston Astros being the second best record in the American League and getting a bye as well. And the fifth wildcard team in the Seattle Mariners. So that is rounding up your American League playoff, which is the Blue Jays, the Rays, the Yankees, the White Sox, the Astros, and the Mariners. So that is your American League playoff teams going forward. And now we're going to look at the American League playoff bracket. And I'm going to put that up in 1 second, guys, so I can show you who is going to make the World Series and the playoff bracket for the American League. So I'm going to pull it up right now. So what do you guys think of the divisions right now? I'm going to pull it up one more time so you guys can look at it really quick. What do you think of the divisions, guys? What do you think of the American League so far that I put up there? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me put it up there one more time. Sorry about that. So what do you think, guys? Do you think it's a pretty decent picks for playoff teams, or do you think you would change it around a little bit? Am I not giving enough respect to a team? Let me know in the comments, guys. Let's talk about the American League really quick, and then I'll get to the playoff bracket for the American League. All right, Lane likes it. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, Riley likes the Mariners to win the West. I kind of was going back and forth with the Astros and the Mariners, but the Astros are still a veteran team that still know how to win, and I think the Mariners, being so young, I think they're gonna have somewhat of an issue pressure wise, but I have to give them credit because it's very talented. Oh, sorry, guys, got a couple of texts coming in. All right. Yeah, so I was like, let me give the Mariners respect. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. So Mothman says A's are gonna win the AL West. Frank looks more likely than not. Plexi says, I agree with everything except Seattle. Angels would be above Seattle. I don't agree, honestly. I don't think the Angels are that good. I think the Angels always find a way to bite themselves in the foot. So I just don't think the Angels are that good, especially in a division where the Rangers, Mariners, and Astros are a team that can easily win 90 games. The Angels are going to have a hard time winning in their division alone. Scoob, no love for the Orioles? Yeah, not yet. They got a lot of good young players. Their lineup is pretty good, but other than that, they're just not that good. Yeah, poor Mike Trout. That guy's just in oblivion. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't think they're trading him anytime soon. So that is your AL West, guys. We're going to go right into the playoff bracket. So once again, the Blue Jays, the Rays, the Yankees, the White Sox, the Astros, and the Mariners is my picks to make the playoffs in the American League. And this is what I'm going to choose for the playoff. Look at the playoff bracket really quick for the American League. Let me just share my screen really quick. All right, so there you go, guys. That is my playoff bracket. Let me just get myself the hell out of there. Let me just put a full screen up. So that is my playoff bracket for the American League, guys. Obviously, based on division wise and everything like that, obviously the Blue Jays and the Astros had the bye is why they're starting in the division round. The two wild card rounds, the Rays and the Mariners are going to face off against each other based on my projections of the standings. The Rays and the Mariners and the White Sox and the Yankees. I think the Rays are a pretty good team, but I think the Mariners are just going to finally get their first playoff win in so many years, and they're going to face in the division round against the Blue Jays. The White Sox and the Yankees, sorry, I just hit my mic, which I normally do. The White Sox and the Yankees, I don't think the Yankees pitching staff is going to hold down the White Sox lineup at all. And I don't think the Yankees lineup can score enough with the White Sox having a pretty good rotation. So I'm going to give the nod to the White Sox. So there's your divisional round, guys. Blue Jays versus Mariners, Astros versus White Sox. I think the Mariners are just going to fall short of the ALCS. Their experience is going to get hurt a little bit here. I think the Blue Jays are just more talented and their rotation is just a little bit better. I'm giving the Blue Jays an ALCS bid against the White Sox because I think the Astros are going to fall short. I still like the White Sox offense enough where I think they're going to beat out in a 7-game series against the Astros and winning that series in 7 games going to the ALCS. So the Blue Jays and the White Sox in the ALCS. The Blue Jays, I think, are the team that is going to win the American League and get to the World Series. So the Blue Jays are the team I'm going to pick to make the World Series in 2022. So let me know what you guys think of my playoff bracket for the American League. I'm looking at the comments, guys. So Scoop thinks Seattle. I think they're just not there yet, but I understand why they're talented for sure. Yeah, I was kind of back and forth with the Red Sox and the Yankees, but I feel like the Red Sox rotation is relying heavily on Sale, and I don't know if Sale's going to be healthy enough, and that's what I worry. Their rotation and their bullpen is basically terrible. I think the Yankees can somehow, if Cole pitches well, I think they can beat out the Red Sox in that division, making the playoffs. But I can see why you chose that you think the Red Sox can. I think so. That is possible, but I have to give the Yankees just a little bit of a nod. So what do you think, guys? The Blue Jays making the World Series coming out of the American League. Trey Robb to the Mets. Yeah, Riley, I don't agree, honestly. But that's okay. That's why we're here, right? I don't agree. I think the problem is, remember, the wild card is not 1 game anymore. It's a 3-game series, best out of 3. So, after Cole, who do you trust? Severino hasn't proved that he can pitch well in a big game. Your third starter is going to be Jordan Montgomery. I mean, that's worrisome. And, against the White Sox, you got Lucas Giolito. I know about Lance Lynn, who's going to be out of about a month or so. He's going to be back probably by the playoffs. So I trust Giolito and Lance Lynn over Cole and Severino at this point. So that's why I'm giving a little bit, with a short series, I don't know. And at this point, you're playing every game in Chicago. You're not playing in Yankee Stadium because the White Sox have a better record. So, or won the division. So that's where I think the Yankees are going to fall short. Michael, I don't know. But you know what? They got all, you know what it is? Their payroll was so low from all the young kids they brought up, Guerrero, Biggio, Bichette, all those guys, they're not getting paid anything. That's the reason why they were able to spend all this money. Their payroll was very low. I mean, their payroll is what, top 10 maybe? Let me see. Let me see where they are. Toronto's number 10 on the list at 161 million. And that's after making all those moves. After getting Chapman, after getting all these moves and all those pitchers. So I don't know, but they're still 10th best in payroll. So they're doing it right. All right, Christian, I like it too. And like I said, it wasn't easy. The American League's kind of questionable, because you could see the Rays having a bad year, and then you bump up other teams, the Red Sox and the Yankees. You could see the Mariners not being good because of their young status. You could see the Rangers or the Angels somehow making it. The White Sox is obvious. You could see the Yankees out of the playoffs. So it's a lot. The American League is very competitive. This playoff bracket could be blown up, and all these teams, half of them could not make the playoffs. So that's why I like about it. Wayne thinks the Rays. Yeah, you know what? They're the only team in Canada, so you're getting a lot of money going that way. And like I said, they're 10th best in payroll. So their payroll is a little less than 162 million. So even with all that money spent this year, they save so much money on their lineup because of Guerrero, Bichette, Biggio, all those guys that are not making no money. Teoscar Hernandez, all those guys are not making no money. So that's why they were able to spend that money. Yep, I'm glad for the Blue Jays. I you know what? I've been to Toronto a lot. I like the city. Like this city gets involved, and it's great. Mothman wants Cohen to take those guys. I mean, you never know. Toronto got money. Don't let them fool you. Yeah, that's something. I was, the Nationals were very, but you know what? They're always very excited. They kill, they crush, and the Mets any situation they can. The announcers. So, but yeah, that's my playoff bracket. Excuse me, for the American League. So I think the Blue Jays are just very good, and I think they're just gonna find a way to get it done. I like their pitching staff. It's probably top 3 or 4 in the league in all of baseball. And I think their offense is just going to beat up on everybody, honestly. So the Blue Jays, in my playoff bracket, they're going to make the World Series for the American League. So that's what we have at the moment, guys. We're going to go starting with the National League divisions right now. So let me just share my screen. Let me put it up real quick. All right, so here we go, guys. We're ready to go. All right, guys. So for the American League, I'm sorry, excuse me, National League, we're going to start with our National League East. Angel, a member of Talking Mets and Roblin. Before we get to the National League, yeah, I think they're the best. I think they are. I really think they are. If they only had the offense, I can worry about them a little bit. But they also got pitching. With Berrios leading that rotation and all the other moves they made, I think they're going to be solid for sure. All right, guys. So here we go with starting with the NL East. I do think the Braves, I'm giving them a ton of respect. I think they got better than last year. I think they're going to win 95 games. I think they're going to have a record of 95 and 67. I think the New York Mets are going to be second. I still don't trust the Phillies to be good enough. I think their rotation and their bullpen is still not good enough to work around that lineup. And their defense is terrible. So I think the Mets are going to come in second place at 92 and 70. Phillies are going to be 89 and 73. The Marlins are going to be 82 and 80. I think the Marlins are going to be over 500. They're going to beat up on some of us, as they always do. They always find a way to beat up on the teams that are at the top of the league. And the Nationals are going to be the worst team in the NL East at 75 and 87. The Mets and the Braves, I believe, are going to make the playoffs out of the NL East. And I think it's going to be a race to the finish line. I think if the Phillies get the pitching that they need to pitch well, I think the Phillies can challenge the Mets for the number 2 spot. But I'm going to put the Braves and the Mets both making the playoffs. The Braves are going to have the second best record and get the bye. The Mets are going to be one of the wildcard teams, the 5th wildcard team, as you can see, because of the NL West. That's going to be an issue for the Mets as well. The Mets are going to be the 5th wildcard team, so they're obviously going to face the 4th wildcard team, which is the Padres, which is going to be a very interesting matchup. So, going into the NL Central, I think the Brewers have just enough to beat the St. Louis Cardinals. I think the Brewers pitching staff is better than the rotation of the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals lineup is better than the Brewers, but I think the pitching staff is going to hurt the Cardinals a little bit. The Brewers are the team I think can be one of those teams that can be very sneaky in the playoffs. I think they're going to win 93 wins or 71 losses. Going to be the 3rd best record, so they're going to be a wild card team. The Cardinals are going to come in second place and be the last team making the playoffs with the wild card 6th spot at 91 and 72. The Cubs are going to fall short. I still don't think the Cubs are good enough to beat any of those teams, but I am giving them credit for making the moves they made at 84 and 78. The Reds, I think they're going to be a team that are going to be making a lot of moves at the deadline, and they're going to have an 80 and 82 record. The Pittsburgh Pirates are still bad. I do like their young core that's coming up, but they're just always the team that sucks, and they're going to have a 68 and 94 record. Going to the NL West, which is something that not only the NL Central fans, but the NL East fans have to watch out for. Because if the Giants become the team they were last year again, it's going to be have a hard time getting wildcard teams coming from the East or the Central. And one of those teams is going to lose out. But I think the Giants are going to fall back a little bit, but still have a pretty good season. So I think the Dodgers are going to be the best team in the National League, getting that number 1 seed, getting a bye at 100 wins and 68. 162. I'm sorry, I put 68. It's 100 wins to 62. That's my fault right there. But that's what happens when you're live. So they're going to have 100 wins, being the best team in the National League. Coming second is the Padres at 94 and 72. Going to be the 4th wildcard team. They're going to be one of the better wildcard teams. They're going to be they're going to have the out of the wildcard teams, they're going to have the best record out of all the wildcard teams. The Giants, I think, are going to be 90 and 81, falling short of the wildcard and making the playoffs based on the Cardinals and Mets record. The Rockies, I still don't think they're any good, even though they made it the signing for Chris Bryant that made absolutely no sense at 75 and 97, and the D-backs going to be the worst in the NL West at 72 and 90. So the teams that are going to be making the playoffs in my bracket in the National League are the Braves, the Mets, the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Dodgers, and the Padres. It's evenly split between each of the divisions. 2 teams of each division are going to make the playoffs. I feel like things can change a little bit. If the Phillies find a way that the pitching staff works out, they can challenge the Mets for a second spot. The Giants, the same thing. I think the Giants just have a spot where if they're as good as they were last year, which is, I feel like it's hard to believe that they can be as good as they were last year. But if they are, it's going to challenge to make a wild card spot, which is going to be detrimental to NL Central teams and the NL East teams. So that is my playoff teams: the Braves and the Dodgers getting the bye, and the Brewers winning the division, but end up being a wild card because they got the third best record in the league with the wild card teams of the Mets, Cardinals, and Padres making the playoffs, rounding out the National League. So with that, what do you guys think? Yeah, I noticed that, Angel. I looked at it really quick. I looked at it and I was doing it quickly earlier today. And I realized I kind of messed up on like three of four of them, maybe. But you get the idea. That's the teams that I think are going to make the playoffs, no matter what the record is. I'm over on a few. I saw that after I looked at it just now. I did it earlier today at work, so that's my bad. Excuse the mistake. I wish I was perfect, but I'm not. But those are my playoff teams for the National League. So with that, yeah, 180 wins. Why not? So with that, we're gonna look at the NL playoff bracket, which is what I do. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna look at it really quick and then pull it up for everybody to see. Okay. Let me just share my screen again. All right, guys. So here we go with the NL playoff bracket. It looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see it that way, but let me just put it up. Okay. So the wild card round is obviously going to be the Mets versus the Cardinals, the Brewers versus the Padres. I think the Mets are going to be pulling it out with their rotation being as dominant as they are. I think the Mets are going to pull it out in the wild card round against the Cardinals, going to face the Dodgers in the divisional round. The Brewers, I think, are going to beat out the Padres. I still don't think the Padres have what it takes to put everything together to make a playoff run. I think the Brewers are going to pull it out also with their rotation. So now you got the divisional rounds with the Dodgers and the Mets, and the Braves and the Brewers. So there you go, right there, guys. In the divisional round, I think the Mets are just going to fall short against the Dodgers. Unfortunately, I think the Dodgers are just too good. Maybe the Mets can make a run based on their pitching staff. If DeGrom is healthy, yes, the Mets clearly have a shot to go all the way to the World Series. But I'm going to give the nod to the Dodgers. I think the Braves are still really good. Are going to pull it out against the Brewers and go into the NLCS against the Dodgers. But I think the Dodgers are going to win the NLCS, go into the World Series. And that is your National League bracket for the 2022 season. I think the Mets could make the NLCS if everybody's healthy in their pitching staff. But just with Scherzer and Bassett, if DeGrom doesn't work out in the rotation, I think the Dodgers are just too good. I think the Dodgers rotation is somewhat questionable, but I like their bullpen. They made that trade for Kimbrel. Their lineup is just impossible. It's just as good as the Blue Jays. And that's the problem I have. And for all you people who think I'm a hater or a homer for the Mets, I'm not. Because if I was a homer for the Mets and I had my Mets sunglasses on and I was very biased, I would put the Mets all the way through to the World Series. But I'm a fair baseball fan. I get it. Anybody can get hot in the playoffs. If the Mets have the rotation of DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, now we're talking about a team that can go and a rotation could take them to the World Series. But I'm thinking realistically, even if the Mets have DeGrom in the rotation, it's still going to be very hard to beat the Dodgers. They're just that good. But when you get hot in the playoffs, anything can happen. But I have to give the nod to the Dodgers making the World Series for the National League. And that brings everything together with the National League. the Dodgers making the World Series, facing off against the Blue Jays. And here you go, guys. I am going to put the bracket of the World Series, and you're going to see who I think is going to be World Series champion. And some of you probably won't be shocked by this. Some of you might be, but we'll see. That's the fun part. All right, guys. So my World Series champions is the Dodgers or the Blue Jays. We're going to see right here, guys. As soon as I share my screen, we are going to have the answer. And with that being said, guys, the Toronto Blue Jays, I believe, are going to be World Series champions. It's going to go 7 games against the Dodgers. The Dodgers have the better record, so they're having home field advantage. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to celebrate in Dodger Stadium, getting their first World Series since the early 90s. The Blue Jays are World Series champs. Go Blue Jays. Congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's not play the season. Blue Jays win. Let's go home. See you in 2023. I'm just joking, guys. So that is my lame joke. So that's what I think right there, guys. The Toronto Blue Jays, I think, are good enough rotation and lineup to make it all the way to the World Series. It's not going to be easy for them, but Toronto Blue Jays going to pull it out against the Dodgers in Game 7. Toronto Blue Jays World Series champs. There you go, guys. That's what I believe is going to be my World Series champion this year. Again, let's go Mets. I hope and pray to any God you want to pray that the Mets win the World Series, but I want to be realistic with you guys. You know I want to be fair with everybody. That's what I want always in my channel, is to be as fair as possible and keep my Mets bias out of the way, even if it shows up every now and then. So that is my playoff bracket, and that is my World Series champ for Toronto Blue Jays. I understand that everybody has their own opinion. Now, nobody's going to get mad at me because of my own opinion, but it is what it is. Scoob, oh, you got the show 2021 or 2022? And I got 2022. But I have to go to work, so I can't, unfortunately. Yes, Christian, that's a good point. And that is the other issue. Like, teams like the Pirates, maybe the Royals, the Reds, the Nationals, maybe the Marlins. Other than that, there's not a lot of teams that are going to be, trading away their players, saying they're done. So, like Christian said, the cost is going to be higher. More teams are going to be in on those players, especially starting pitching. So, and bullpen pieces. We should see, unfortunately. But you know what? It's going to be fun because that means it's not going to be easy to get anybody at the trade deadline. And you know what? I think that's going to be more exciting at the trade deadline. I think the trade deadline, if I heard correctly, was August 2nd. So it's not July 31st, it's August 2nd. I like that it's a little bit later, only because there's more teams that's going to be involved trying to get players. And it's just going to make for a crazy trade deadline, in my opinion. So there you go, guys. Once again, on the screen, that is my National League and American League playoff bracket. The World Series against the Dodgers, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. And I think the Blue Jays are going to pull it out in Game 7 and winning the World Series, their first World Series since the early 90s. And I honestly would be rooting for the Blue Jays if they make the World Series, because I can't stand the Dodgers. Yeah, again, when it comes to the rain delays, on the whole East Coast, there's going to be problems with weather. Unfortunately, I expect the Mets to get rained out, honestly. Obviously, I'm going to be there watching it. It's a 4 o'clock game. So, I'll watch the Yankees before and then go right into the Mets game. Hopefully, they can get it in. It looks like they have a window to start the game, but we'll see. John Mack, I understand, man. I can't stand it. I hate the Dodgers for other reasons. The whole 2015 were ugly. and going back all the way to 2006, a lot. Well, yeah, the Yankees play on Thursday as well, so they have a problem because it's supposed to rain all day on the East Coast here in New York. So, everybody in the Northeast are gonna have problems playing for sure, after because of the rain. But it is what it is. Brad, I would love to do a cameo with all those guys, but you know what? I'm not the most popular Mets YouTuber, unfortunately. So, but it is what it is. I would love to do it. You know, I will be going live on opening day, so hopefully you guys tune in. There will be competition with other Mets channels going live on opening day, but that's okay because I'm going to do a nice little pregame before. Well, I hope to do a pregame because I got to get home from work, but I'm hopefully going to set it up where I can jump on around. Well, no, I should be able to because the game's on at 4. So I should be doing I'm going to do a long pregame going right into the game. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, last World Series in 92, 93. Yes. So once again, guys, that is my World Series. Oops, sorry. My World Series pick right there is the Toronto Blue Jays. I almost said the Washington Nationals. But yes, the Toronto Blue Jays, I believe, are going to win the World Series. That is my playoff brackets. I'm going to be ending the stream in a little while, guys, because I got to go to work. But that's okay because I got everything I needed to get in at the moment. It's all right. I can be Rib, Rob, Robert, Roberto, Bobby, Bob, whatever you want to call me, guys. It's okay. Joe, you shut up. Right? I hope so, guys. And the only way you guys can help me is hitting on that like button, subscribing to the channel. If you know people that are not following me, that you know are Mets fans or baseball fans, send over my channel link so they can subscribe and come and join and have fun. I pride myself as giving everybody a chance to speak on my channel. I don't block people. I let people speak their mind. I think you guys know that. I am not one to block people. Yes, I have moderators that control some of that stuff, but I'm not one of those guys that block you on my own. I like to have people speak out. I like to have confrontation when it comes to different fans of different teams. No, not sexually or racially confrontations, but sports confrontations. Going back and forth is not something I frown upon. I like getting into it with other fans. It's a lot of fun. I love it. That's why when I hope I do my live streams uh during Mets games and whoever we're facing, fans of other teams come in and hang out because it's always a lot of fun. I don't like just perspective on just one team. I like everybody joining in. It's a lot of fun to me. That's why when it was the lockout and the free agent frenzy, it was a lot of fun because we got so many people from different areas of the country who are fans of different teams. It's fun. Yeah, I think the Mets are just going to give him the extra date. Like I said, you don't want to lose Scherzer because of the rain delay. If he pitches 2 or 3 innings and then it gets delayed 2 hours, you don't want to lose his performance for just 3 innings. So I'd rather just keep him until Friday. By the way, it's on Apple TV, just so you guys know. So we will see. So, but again, let McGill start opening day and let's have fun. Markman, Mets World Series champs. To your lips, to God's ears, buddy. But I don't agree. JD, I think it's going to be Tyler McGill because he's lined up to pitch that because he was supposed to pitch today, and the Mets didn't pitch him. He pitched Walker. They pitched Walker. So it just tells me that McGill's going to get the nod for opening day. We'll find out if not later tonight, tomorrow. I don't know if Reed Foley is going to be on the on the opening day roster. I think he will be because the Mets are probably going to have an extra 1 or 2 arms in the bullpen. Peterson might come up only because of this rain situation, you might need them to go long. So we'll see. And don't forget, guys, tomorrow I am going live for the Mets season preview. We're going to have the final rosters. We're going to look at that. We're going to talk World Series predictions. Obviously, you guys know. All the things about the Mets. So if you're a Mets fan, please come in tomorrow. I believe I put it at 3 o'clock again. I could be wrong. I'm going to post that right after the stream goes. Finishes, I'm going to post that so you guys make sure to hit on that like button on that stream. So tomorrow we can have all our Mets fans together talking about our New York Mets season preview. Yeah, Brad, that's what I always strive to do. Before I made my YouTube channel and I was thinking about it, I used to go on other channels and just check it out because I wanted to learn how to do things, how I would do things differently. And one thing that I think me and Hayden do well is that we talk to everybody, or at least try to get to everybody in the comments. I like to get everybody involved. It was hard when I was getting 300-400 people in my lockout streams and my frenzy streams. It's hard to get to everybody. But when it's a little more smaller, I can get to everybody. But I try my best, and I thank you for that. That you see that I try to do that. I really respect that. Thank you. Philly fans are the worst. Scoob, he's one of the best. He's getting up there in age, but he's still one of the best for sure. That's cool, Angel. You know what? I don't look. People got lives. I don't expect everybody to be here every moment of every day on the stream. I don't expect that. I never do. All I expect from you guys is that when you are on the stream, to check in and say what's up. Always say what's up in the stream. I like to talk to everybody. Yeah, unfortunately, on Friday, you have to have Apple. Listen, guys, you don't need a subscription to Apple TV to watch the game. You just have to download the app on your phone, laptop, smart TV. You don't have to get a subscription. It's free. You just have to get the app, unfortunately. Yeah, if you're out of market, it doesn't matter. You still have to watch it on Apple TV. No, Joe, I don't have any teams losing 100+ games. I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately. Yeah, probably. I could see the Pirates losing 100 games or the Orioles, but I'm giving everybody a chance. Yeah, school. Yeah, like I said, I don't need just Mets fans in my stream. It's always fun to have different people. Dominic, yeah, I have the Padres making the playoffs. I'm not going very far in the playoffs. I think the Padres are talented enough to make the playoffs because I don't think the Giants are going to be as good as they were last year. That's why I put the Padres ahead of the Giants and making the playoffs. Yeah, Christian, I think they're going to lean towards Peterson because I think Shreve and Rodriguez are going to be the lefties. I can see them bringing up Peterson only because of the rain situation. If there's delays and you got to take your starter out, Peterson can pop right in if it's early up in the game. So, yeah, I agree with you, Christian. Yeah, I still think they're talented enough. They got a pretty good rotation. They still got a lot of talent in that lineup. I think the Padres are going to do some damage this year. I just don't think they're going to be good enough to go very far in the playoffs. All right, guys. So once again, I really appreciate everybody tuning in today. It's a somewhat short stream today. I just wanted to get all my picks in for the playoffs. Once again, guys, to look at the playoff scenario before I go, I believe it's going to be this. The Rays, the Mariners, the White Sox, the Blue Jays, and the Astros in the American League making the playoffs. The Mets, the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Braves. Rounding out the playoff scenario, I think it's going to be the Blue Jays and the Dodgers making the World Series. And I think Toronto Blue Jays are going to win 7 games, against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Blue Jays are going to be World Series champs. I know a lot of you might not agree, with my choices of playoffs, but that are my choices. You guys have your own. I respect it, but I kind of like my bracket, or I wouldn't have put it up. So yeah, Angel, I agree. Some teams, I like to think positively, even though a lot of people think that I'm very negative. Uh, I think some teams are gonna fall short. Almost everybody's gonna fall short of 100 wins. Losses. Sorry. I can see the Pirates or the Orioles losing 100 games, but I'm giving them benefit of the doubt this year. So once again, guys, I really appreciate everybody tuning in today for the MLB season preview. I really appreciate all you guys tuning in. Don't forget, guys, please hit on that like button so everybody who's tuning in later can check it out and have some fun with my playoff bracket and probably get cursed out in the comments, which is always fun. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that subscribe button. Check out tomorrow's stream for the Mets season preview, right the day before opening day, so we can talk about the Mets final roster, their lineup, their rotation, their bullpen, and aspirations of Met fans going forward for the season. Once again, guys, really appreciate all the support. Have a good night, guys. And as always, Met fans, let's go Mets. And good luck to everybody in Major League Baseball and you fans. Have a good night, guys. Let's go Mets. See you tomorrow.